Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to my channel. Well, it's another one of those days where I'm going to attempt to make a YouTube video repairing something that's broke. Today, I started laundry yesterday, finished one load of laundry, put it in the dryer, everything was fine. Went to bed last night while the dryer was running, got up this morning, the load was finished. I took the load out, put it on the bed, and moved the clothes from the washer up into the dryer, set it for 90 minutes, which takes this little 115 volt dryer about 90 minutes to dry a medium-sized load. And push the start button, nothing. So I've checked the breaker. There is a separate breaker for the washer and for the dryer. And there's outlets in the closet here, 2 separate outlets for each of them to plug in. So just to make sure it was in the dryer, because taking this dryer out of here, it looks like it's going to take an act of Congress. I've already started. I've taken the doors off of the outside, and I'm getting ready to take this piece of stile off at the top in order to get to the bracket that's at the top of the dryer. I've taken the screws out of the bracket down here, but I can't slide the dryer back because of the upper bracket in order to take the screws out so I can move that bracket out, because it looks like there's just barely going to be enough room to slide that out once I get this stile off. So at any rate, I suspect that what the problem is this little door switch right here. It doesn't have any resistance on it at all. So I don't know. I'm sure it's probably just an in switch contact in there, but typically when you push those in, you can feel some type of resistance and usually a little click when you've actually closed the switch. There's nothing there. It's just like it's freewheeling, like something has broken loose at the top. So I'm gonna see if I can take this thing out enough to sit it on the toilet here, and hopefully without scratching everything up. But you know, this is the bad thing about it, is there's not much room in the bathroom, so it's gonna have to be a one-man job. So hopefully I have not gotten to the age where I can not lift this dryer. So, but we shall see. So got my little angle drill out here. That's very helpful in this instance. So, and of course everything in the camper's that little number 2 square head. So I think they hold the front door probably comes on with the number 2 square head. but it makes it convenient, I guess. And I guess since there seems to be a never-ending reason to take these screws out, it's a good thing you're all universal. So let's see, that should have it out. Yeah. Oh boy, lovely. Well, I tell you what, I love this RV. It's quality built, but I tell you, there's the tolerance on everything is precise. Nothing is designed to be taken apart, apparently, because that bad boy is jammed in there good. All right, and I don't really want to take the side stiles off because I don't see any screws in those, for one thing. So that means they're not really designed to come off. So I have to figure out some way to get this piece out of here. Wow. There is no room for that. And that frame that's in the back of it is holding the dryer, it goes all the way up. So let me see if I can maybe slide this piece down a little bit in order to get to the screws. Oh, wow. There we go. Now, of course, you know, you try to wrestle the thing and you get no results. All right, so I got 2 screws here, but the screws that go in the back that hold that to the ceiling go in from the bottom. So, and the screws, this L bracket that's on there goes the other way. So the screws that are in the top of that goes into the dryer. Hey, well, got ants in my RV too. I had not had any problem with ants until we got here, and there was when I went to plug in the electrical cord, opened up the box and it was full of ants. So, and then I made the mistake of plugging it in first and then going later that day up to the store to get some ant spray. And I come back and just doused it down pretty good with the ant spray. So I don't see them in there anymore, but apparently they all decided to come in the house with me. You know what? Let's try. Let's see if we can take this off. That's not gonna give me much more room anyway. I don't know if this one comes off or not. Yep. Don't give me much room, but like I said, with the tolerances that we got going on here, every little bit helps. Huh, look at that. Okay. You know what? Look at that. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. I think that must be holding some of the outside lights on the back of the RV too. That thing's so long. Okay. And that 2x4 that's in there is just barely in there, so might be able to get that out of there without too much trouble. Yep. She just come right out of the top. Them screws ain't holding much of nothing. And I'm not tightening them up because I'm already battling with a roof leak in the living room as well. So apparently when we were in Texas and the awning got caught by the wind because my wind sensor in the awning had gotten corroded on the inside, and it failed to operate and bring the awning in when it started to move around, and a big gust of wind caught it and blew it way up in there. When it came back down, it actually pulled 2 of the L brackets loose from the roof up there. So I had to go back, put some larger screws in that, reattach it down. I put some Eternabond tape around the edges, put it down on top of the Eternabond, put the screws in, put more Eternabond around the outside lip, and then put Dicor around the outside of the Eternabond, so to make sure I didn't have a leak. But as it turns out, I think it caused more damage than what was right there at the L brackets. Boy, that thing is all the way back and it's not going to slide back anymore. So I don't know how I'm supposed to get to that. Huh. That is not cool. It's the Jenga puzzle from hell. I don't know how they planned on being able to take this out, but let's see if we can slide the whole thing out a little bit. Nope. No, they've got a piece of wood up in the front to keep it from sliding forward. Now, we might be able to take that out. Oop, runaway toilet paper. I'm gonna go ahead and do a lot of the tedious stuff off camera and save y'all from having to watch me unleash my sailor vocabulary. So even though I was not in the Navy, but I did pick up a few things along the way. So be right back when I've got this thing to a point where I can actually get something done with it. Stick with me. All right, y'all. I'm back, and I've got a lot of stress. This thing is designed like a huge Jenga puzzle. I never did get it to the point where I got it out, but I got this bracket here was on top of the dryer, was glued to the top of the dryer, had a 2x4 that was behind that. Somebody had tried to screw in at an angle to the ceiling. The screws weren't holding anything, so I'm not even going to put this back up there. It serves no purpose the way it was. So, and obviously something must be holding it beyond that, because at any rate, once I got this bracket loose, that bracket loose, and pulled off of the dryer, I was able to pry the top up right here, pry out on it, and raise it up enough where I could reach down in there with my fingers and get to the wires that went to that switch. You'll see that the switch is no longer there because I have taken it out. This is the switch. I've used my multimeter to confirm that this switch is in fact bad. So I'll give you a little shot of that. A proprietary switch. They couldn't just use any little micro switch like an intelligent designer would. It's always been my contention that God made service techs so engineers would have somebody to look up to. So, man, it's crazy. But at any rate, I've got it plugged back in. I haven't put my panels back on yet, so I still have that to do. But I believe that we're at a point where it will work. Now, the only bad part about this, all I did was bypass the switch because I don't have a switch like that. So I will have to order that and then put it back in once it gets in. So I'll have to do all this again. But now I know all I got to do is take this piece off and the doors off, and I can manipulate it to a point where I can get that connected and then lower it back down with the wires and get the screws up in there. So it'll be a whole thing. But but at any rate, I believe now that we should be able to start this, and it should go ahead and fire up. But it'll probably be noisy, so that might be the end of the video if this thing in fact does actually start. But it's a simple fix if that is the problem, but it is not simple to get to that little fix. It's like putting the fuse under half a ton of bricks. You gotta go through a lot of bricks to get to where that fuse is at. But at any rate, we'll see if this is gonna work when I push this button. Sweet sound of success. So all right, so now you got an idea of what their problem is, and just to give you a little background, like I said, I checked by switching the two power supply cords from one breaker, because I knew when I turned the wash machine on, I get the little light there, so I knew I had power to the wash machine. And so I switched the two back there and still had nothing at the dryer. So I knew that it was a component of the dryer. And then when I touched that little switch, I'm like, that feels like there's nothing there at all. It felt like just a piece of metal hanging down in there with nothing connected to the other end. So I was pretty sure that that's what the problem was. But then once I got the wires out, I just kind of shaved a little bit of the insulation off the wires and hooked my multimeter to it, put it on in my continuity setting, and there was no tone to indicate that the switch was closed no matter what I did to the switch. So I went ahead and cut the wires, put a wire nut on the end of them, stripped them back on the ends, put a wire nut on there, so they're basically wire nutted together now, so it simulates the switch being closed. Like I say, the only problem with that is I'm not going to be able to open the door to stop the laundry and check and see everything's working. I'll have to actually turn this switch over to off in order to stop it, and then try to remember where it was at and put it back on there if I want to check it in mid-cycle. But hey, at least that saves me a trip to the campground laundromat today to dry this load of clothes that I had washed already. So that should take care of this video. I'll try to keep you up to date on the roof repair. I went up there earlier, took a couple of the side panels, that the rain protection that keeps the rain from running off of the roof and down on to the awning. Well, most of it anyway. But I took those off, and I was able to get to the side seam area there that's got a lot of Dicor on it, and found several areas that look like it could be a potential leak source. So I put some Dicor on those, and we'll see. And it's supposed to rain again today at 3 o'clock. So all of a sudden I'm feeling like I'm starting to grow web feet. But once we get that, once I get that issue resolved, I'm definitely going to look into this lifetime roof coating, armor seal, I think they call it. I've already contacted them, just waiting for them to contact me back. So and that's something that they will actually come up to the campground and do. So that's going to be a big benefit for us. So we should be able to continue living in the camper, although I don't know how that's going to work if they're pulling the ACs off and everything to do the full roof. But we'll work all the logistics out. If I got to go somewhere else and stay for a couple days, then that'll be what we do. So that will eliminate, from what they tell me, that will eliminate future issues with the roof. And I really, that's one of the biggest problems I think you can have with a mobile home or an RV of any type, is you start getting roof leaks and you can't find out where they're coming from. It can cause some pretty significant damage. I'll put that in a later video and show you some of the damage that has occurred on the inside of the RV. This was a beautiful RV before we developed this leak, and now we've got some delamination going on some of the decorative sealing treatments and stuff like that. So, but it ain't nothing money can't fix. But only problem is, I ain't got much of that. So anyway, y'all enjoy the beautiful day while there's beautiful day left. I appreciate you taking the time to come by and see this little quick fix here. Probably should have videoed a lot more of it, because but basically it was just taking down panels and doors and stuff, and the top of this piece I just pried it out with a screwdriver, pulled outward on it, and then I could raise it up past the clips in the same way, putting it back in, pry outward on it, put it back down, and it goes on back in there. So if you have that issue, now you got a little bit of a guidance point to refer to. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know who come up with this plan. I mean, it's a great use of space, every damn bit of it. So it is the washing machine sits in the pan, and then they got a piece of wood that drills right through the pan. So they got a plastic pan to catch water, and then they drill 3 holes through it. So I guess it'll catch water for a little while. And I do have a water alarm in there, so that'll go off in the event that I get a leak in there and it's going into the pan. So I should know about it pretty quickly. So appreciate y'all coming by, watching the video, and experimenting with me on getting this done. First time I've had to do anything with this. I may end up later on. I've got some issues with the washer not wanting to start a load too. Have to slam the door 3 or 4 times to get it to start sometimes, but it's still able to get it started, and I ain't looking forward to that either. So while y'all are here, take the opportunity to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and we'll look forward to seeing you in future videos. I'm gonna try to get back to my every week schedule. I apologize for, like I said, not putting a video out last Friday. Usually try to put them out on Friday. Didn't get one out last Friday because I was fighting with the roof leak, and that's been consuming just about every part of my day, trying to figure out where that's coming from and getting it resolved. So I'm sure y'all understand, and but I think I've got it on the run, I hope. So we'll see. But y'all enjoy the rest of the day, and remember, when camping, take only photos and leave only footprints. Travel safely. We'll see you next time.